Hey y'all, what's going on? It's the Culture Critiques panel. We are back to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's season 6, episode 19, reunion part 3, y'all. We're going to finally close the chapter that is season 6 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We can't wait to discuss all the details with you. So stay tuned. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, sis.
Ta-da! And here we are, y'all.
Yeah.
This is our final time talking about this season. The unfortunate time has come, but it's been real. I'll characterize it by saying that it's been real. We're gonna bring it on home with this final part. How did you feel going into this?
You see what the bottom of my name say?
Yeah, my sister's letting her true feelings out, and her little title right there. Yeah, I have to agree. I do think that I was trying to be optimistic, but I feel like honestly, this could have just been wrapped up in like one part. Quite honestly. There's just certain things that we're just not going to agree on as a cast up here. Like certain people are just not going to back down from how they feel. And because of that, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it. So yeah.
What is it called? A circular argument? Is this going in a circle and a circle and a circle? You say that? Yeah, it's getting redundant. We see what the audience see, what we see, and like they said, there's always 3 sides to the story: your side, her side, and then the truth in the middle. But it doesn't mean that both sides are wrong. It's just the way it played out for each of the people that are involved. So yeah, it got a little exhausting. I don't feel like like you said, we didn't get really enough resolve. There was many other things that we could have talked about. I feel like we wasted a lot of time on some things that and you know, Brittany fashion, she interrupted some things that in that moment I feel like we could have went a little bit deeper. She should have just came back to the to the scene quietly and observe. But Brittany doesn't know how to read a room yet. So we'll get into all of that. But yeah, I just feel like I almost feel like we could have probably got 1, maybe 2 parts. We could have definitely pushed this one into the second part for sure.
Absolutely. Right when you said that, oh my God, stop.
That's yours, not mine.
Right when you said that there were certain things that we could have got into, as opposed to what we did jump into, I thought of one particular thing right off the top of my head that really frustrated me. And I mean, I'm not going to give Andy credit for asking the right questions, because once again, I feel like he could have asked some different questions. But at the same time, I can't fault him too much because, like I said before, certain people are only going to tell their version of events, their version of what happened. So it is what it is. Yeah, y'all, before we jump into all that, you already know we need you guys to do a couple things for us, which include liking the video. We are streaming from both of our channels, so go ahead, hit the like button on both, subscribe to both. Let us know what you think of this season, as well as our commentary down in the comment section. Don't forget to share us wherever you see fit, and also follow us on our social media accounts that are scrolling along the bottom. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. Do all the things, because we are still going to be producing content, even though we are coming to a close on this season. We got other things in store as always, y'all. So comment, like, subscribe, share, do all the things. And Kev is in here. Hey, Kev, what's going on with you?
Hey, Kev. Hey, Kev.
Stay. If you guys are watching in the bushes, come down, let us know your thoughts on this episode. Let us know your thoughts on the entire reunion in the live chat. We'd love to have a little kiki with you guys. But yeah, I think that's
and keep the conversation going on our comments when our live is done. Replay gang, y'all already know what to do. Y'all come in there and keep the conversation going for us.
Yes, y'all, just as my sis said. But this third part, of course, we jump right into it with Brittany and the theatrics of it all, y'all. She was making her dramatic exit from the stage because, according to her, she doesn't want to be called a victim. She's not a victim. She's not kidding. Leave her alone. She's not here for it. She's going to go cry hysterically backstage. Was it just me, or I didn't really quite see anybody phase too much? I did see there was a certain couch that was a lot more vocal in quote unquote support for her, but I feel like that was just them trying to jab at the other couch more so than it was about defending Brittany. I don't truly feel like he's up there ready to keel over on a heel who do I sound like, Whitney? On a hill because Brittany's feelings are hurt. I think it's just they're using that as a cop-out as far as why they want to continue to go at Meredith and Lisa about this whole thing. I don't think it's truly rooted in them caring about Brittany for real. I don't think they take her serious enough to care about her for real, I feel.
I think you're right. I think you're onto something. I think we all feel the same way. Just said that about Brittany. She doesn't know how to read the room. She doesn't know, and I don't want to say because she doesn't want to be called play the victim. I'm not a victim. But she doesn't know when to play victim because they all have done it. You can't be on the show and not go through all the things. You know, you go through almost all the emotions. You go through all the things. You get hazed, a little bit of bullying. You get people that like you. You got people that don't like you. People that rock with you. People that don't rock with you. People that are convenient. Oh, and don't forget the important friends. Shout out to Heather. But I'm just saying, you get a mixed pot when it comes to reality TV. So I just wish Brittany. I used to say this about Tisha from Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm not switching out things. I'm just saying. I used to say from the first season that she needed to get her backbone. She would be so much better when she was able to talk for herself. Her voice used to be shaky like Shanice, Evelyn's daughter. You know, she has that hesitation in her voice. And so with that, I feel like Brittany has that. And it could be, and it can't be much because you are a performer. You like the camera, right? So I don't know if it's that she really don't know how to approach the ladies. She's stuck in whatever year it was that she had her kids and the kids were cool. And she wants to go back to that part so bad, but she doesn't know how to get there. And you can't really go back. You can build from what you had there and start afresh or anew and let the daughter see that happening. But for the most part, I just feel like Brittany, you're right. They didn't come to her defense. It was an act of convenience to throw daggers at the other couch. And like I said, I just wish Brittany could take up for herself. She hasn't learned how to do that very well yet. So, and I don't know if she's going to get another chance. Do you think she's coming back next season?
Oh, for sure. I definitely think she's coming back. And I mean, again, I'm saying all this, y'all, to say, like, I think she has a good place on the show. And I mean, we can go down the list here in a minute to really highlight who genuinely is being forthcoming, who is really bringing something to talk about on the show. I mean, she's amongst, I would say, even though we don't always want to hear about what's going on in her life, although we have our opinions on how she may or may not, show up as a parent, she is bringing a lot more of something as opposed to other full-time snowflake holders, whatever they hold over here. So I can't, fault her completely based off of that alone. So I think that she definitely should come back next season, but she comes back with more of a backbone in these types of situations, I would be a lot more happy, I would say.
I can dig it.
And I should have actually said before I paused here, I should have said, again, we at least us over here, y'all, as we just said, can kind of see how this side, this couch was throwing daggers at this couch, because, you know, we have Angie following up saying, well, you know, this is the state that she was in when, you know, they got on the plane. So it's not hard to how's it hard to have a compassion for a person like that? And I'm just like, again, I think that is all just conveniently being placed and thrown at the opposite couch to make them look bad, more so than it is done in support of Brittany. But I digress. Meredith is like, you know, well, which one is it then? Is it I poured wine on her and pulled her hair, or did I just, you know, point out her bad behavior? Like, pick one, choose one. And Andy, he's trying to kind of sum this up by saying, well, she did take the post down when you mentioned it, when it was brought up. So, you know, of course, he's cut off by Heather, who continues on to say, like, yeah, didn't she make it right then? Like, and Meredith says, yeah, she took it down, not when she found out and she was questioned about it. She took it down when she was getting all the pushback and being called out online, pretty much, is when she took it down. So if it happened the way that Meredith is saying it happened, which, y'all, I'm not saying it did, like my sis said earlier, there's 3 sides to every story, but I could see Meredith having a point by saying that if it did happen that way. But I don't know if I said last week, but I just don't, I think Brittany's a lot of things, but I think we have to be very, very cognizant, especially in our current political climate and just the state of the entire world in general right now. You have to be very, very careful about the labels that you place on people. So I can't tell you, I wasn't there. I don't know from the can of paint, but just from the outside perspective looking in, I just, something about that just tells me that maybe it might be another situation where multiple people have multiple viewpoints on it. I'm not saying Meredith's feelings aren't valid, but she may have perceived it one way than what actually occurred, I feel like.
Like, I had a point and then it went away from me because I just thought about somebody I needed to text. But hey, Yvette, thank you for joining us. You know, we love to hear from you, lady. Always a pleasure to see you in our chat. Always, always, always. I don't want just move on to the next thing because I forgot my chain of thought. I forgot my chain of thought, and it'll come back to me maybe. And unless I have you reiterate what you just said, and I don't.
Right. Yeah, y'all. So they're continuing to go back and forth about that, with Meredith bringing up how, you know, she basically went to bat for Brittany last season with her bat mitzvah. She was kicking Angie out, and then she turns around and Brittany started lying about her. So that was a slap in the face. And he's like, well, maybe, you know, no offense, but maybe she doesn't like you, and maybe you don't like her either. And I feel like that's something me and him can agree on. I do feel like it all comes down to that. And if you already feel like you don't like a person or that person doesn't like you, you're already going into every situation from there on out, kind of side-eyeing and kind of on edge and skeptical and all those things. And there's already like kind of some bad blood between you guys. So that's what I was trying to say before, where I'm saying like, okay, maybe you were already looking at it from a place of, I don't really like this girl, she don't really like me. And so from there, you're going to take offense to anything that, if she even steps like a toe out of line, you're going to take offense to it. Because Brittany's not saying she didn't write the review or whatever, or didn't, you know, be serviced by this person and stuff like that. She's just opposing to the part where Meredith is saying that, you know, you did this to be malicious, or you did this to be anti-Semitic, and I just don't. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say before, Yvette. I don't. That's there needs to be a lot there for that label for me to really stick today. And that's not what Meredith said.
That was gonna be I remember my point now. And I'll bring it back full circle. The problem is with Meredith that because we've watched her bend the truth a little bit or not take up much accountability in this season, it's hard to believe everything that's coming out of her mouth. Now, does that mean I believe everything that's coming out of Brittany's mouth? No. But at the same time, I do not think that girl is anti-Semitic. I just don't. It would have already reared its ugly head because you can't really fake the funk. You really can't fake the funk when you're, you know, that person, that person. So I don't think that she's that. I'm hoping she's not. You know, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that is her personality. I don't think that's her. She's been in the industry for a minute. I just don't see it. So yeah, that, and then that was it. I was just wanting to say, with Meredith, I don't wholeheartedly believe you all the time. I feel like you've been the truth a little bit, and so does everybody else. You might been the truth to fit your narrative, but then what my sis Barb said is definitely true. If you're already coming into it side-eyeing, not giving the benefit of the doubt anyway, because I really don't like you, girl. I'm looking for a reason to not like you and can't stand you, and for my feelings to be valid. So I'm gonna look for every reason from my feelings to be valid about the way I feel about you. So I'm kind of fishing, you know what I mean? I'm kind of fish for you, and so I feel what you said, sis, like that. Literally, I could see that happening. Meredith is, and you know, Meredith is not good with hiding her real feelings about people. She's not, you know, because it's kind of on her face. You know what Meredith does when we know that she is not in a good space? She pulls back. She doesn't say much. She just sits and observes. So, you know what I'm saying? So we already know how Meredith kind of moves.
Yeah, I think, I just don't see, this is just not a black and white situation for me, just to, like Yvette said, that being a huge accusation on international TV. It is. So like, if I was literally just given a excerpt of this situation, and the question was, do you think that this person is a bigot or not, based off of this information, this entire narrative, I would have to be like, no, I need more information, because as it stands, based off of this information, everything checks out up until the point of whether or not she did it maliciously, whether or not she did it at this point or that part. Like they agree on how everything came to be up until the point of, what time did you do this, and was it only after, etc., etc. So
Well, here's my thing. Didn't we say this last week though, sis? Didn't we say that it depends on what she said to her? Like, I mean, what the not what she said, what the nail technician has said. Like, literally, remember, he calls Brittany and says, "Can you write a review?" And you know, Brittany's not that smart, so she's like, "Of course I can write a review," because in her mind, she's probably thinking, "Oh, somebody's writing a bad review on his nail stuff." It might have not been told to her, no, he's being anti-Semitic and he's crazy as hell. And so you need to disengage, to use Meredith's word, and you know, make sure that you know who you supporting. But we know Brittany's not that smart. So she literally had to go do a little research. Okay, that's fine. Go do your research. And then she did what she needed to do. And that's why the girls kept saying, well, look, she made it right. She rectified it. Like, so what's the problem now, Meredith? No, because she did it after the fact. Meredith, if she did it after the fact, during the fact, when the fact, is it done or is it not? Because going back to what the girl said, you also used him. and he's in your house, and you feel bad. So why is it that you're holding Brittany's feet to some fire when you actually had this idiot in your house too?
Yeah, it's about perception at that point. It's Meredith is perceiving it as though, oh, only after people started coming at her and calling her out online, she took it down, she addressed it, whatever. Whereas maybe in Brittany's mind, it's no, it wasn't that I only took it down once I was getting, torn to shreds online, as much as I had done my research by that moment, or I looked into it and found, out what really, occurred there. Meredith is going to take it the worst possible way, once again, because they already aren't two peas in a pod, aren't people that would usually be, hanging with each other unless they were on a show like this. So yeah, that's Meredith. You perceived the timeline, the sequence of events as the worst possible way. And Brittany's over here saying, no, it didn't even happen like that. I didn't, know until I knew, like, in the story. The hot seat was getting too hot for Meredith, so she threw her under the bus. I don't know what it was. Although I know I said it earlier on in the season. I know I said it up until the finale that everybody, as much as they can point fingers at other people, those same fingers can point back at them. So it was more so that for me, where it's like, yeah, Meredith had some of her points, but on the flip side, other people had some points too, that again, we're only seeing one angle of this type of stuff. So we have to then dissect it how we so choose from there.
Too high. Hold on, homies. Sorry, I came off camera because I'm like, I was about to fall out my seat.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this type of stuff. Like, I feel like there were certain things that. Why didn't Andy or anybody fake write in about how it was crazy for Heather to follow Lisa around on that yacht when she said she wanted to be left alone? Like, there were certain things that I feel like certain people should have been called to the carpet about, and they weren't. So I'm glad you brought that up, Yvette.
That is so correct. Not that I forgot. It was because the season was so good, and for us to fall flat in 3-part reunion, and the third part to fall flatter than anything. The first part could be good, second part can fall flat, and then the third part should follow up like, hey, we brought it home. And I just feel like it was like the first part was cool, the second part, heated up, and then we went like want in the third. But yeah, there was that definitely should have been brought up, because that's bullying.
It is, no matter if you don't like the person or not, wrong is wrong.
It's bullying on so many levels, and that's what we're trying to say about, you guys keep saying Brittany's the victim, she cried victim, well, look at what y'all do to the girl. Look at the part y'all play, because everybody has a part in it. She took it on the chin, and she took it like a good sport, and then the moment she sprinkled some water on somebody, or in the hot tub, like, they definitely should have asked Brittany, like, so she can elaborate. Like, I wasn't trying to dunk the girl, but it was okay when they was dunking my big head up under some water. Yeah, that would have been a good segment. Good observation, Yvette.
True. Meanwhile, y'all, Brittany's backstage, inconsolable, crying. I guess that was her team, her glam team. I don't know. Olivia was back there. Apparently, I didn't see Olivia in this. I
thought that was who was consoling.
The dark hair. She colored her hair that dark. No,
I went back because today I watched it. Right, I was like getting ready, and I literally went right over to the screen, and this person looked young, and I don't know, because I don't see her doing her hair that dark either, but maybe it was just production and that was just a young girl, because I was thinking that girl didn't say one word, so maybe it wasn't her daughter, because that's why I walked back in. I was in my bathroom, so my TV's on the other side of my bathroom, so I literally
her Instagram. I think it's this girl that's behind her. Wasn't it this girl who was behind her?
Let's see.
Because that's not Olivia. That looks like somebody from her team that's doing her. That looks like her hair. She's doing her hair.
Yeah, I think that was her. Yeah,
that was
from the other, like from here, we're looking up, so her face looks like this long. But from the other angle, looking down at her face looked smaller and younger. You know, certain angles do like that. So yeah, you're right. Because like I said, I didn't. If it was her daughter, I was like, dang, I didn't say one word. And I was thinking to this, but no, I'm not saying that like that. I'm not saying. I'm saying even if you're gonna console somebody, you consoling them, so you say something. Unless you are a part of the team and you're not really saying something, you just want, somebody to knowing somebody needs some kind of comfort at that moment. But Justin, when Whitney goes back, she went to go tell Justin what happened. So I don't know if they are the people that are there, are they watching fully, or are they just standing in the dressing rooms where there's no TVs? I don't know. You know what I mean? That dynamic I was thinking about too.
It's hard to tell because sometimes, like just thinking across the board, sometimes it looks like they be backstage watching what's going on, and then sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes the husbands will be knowing what's being said and what's being talked about, and then other times they're like, "What happened?" So I don't know.
And so when Whitney went back there to tell him, he was shocked with what she said. When we'll get to it, but I like a little was like, okay, so he wasn't watching or paying attention wherever he was at, yada yada yada. But okay, it's good to know that that wasn't her daughter right in that moment, because I literally, that when I rewatched it this morning, I said, her daughter, why she ain't saying nothing? But I am glad that Brittany's daughter was there.
I mean, if she didn't want to say like that, and that's the part where I do get off the bus for her too, because and say like, I mean, at that point, whatever you get from your daughters, Brittany, is just what you get. If Olivia saw you crying and was like, I'm gonna go get lunch, it is what it is. I can't have an opinion on that because you made that bed. It seems like we're pretty. I know I'm in agreement with y'all in the comments that are saying that the seasons are usually better than the reunions. Reunions always fall flat. Oddly so, the past few seasons have been the best of the entire Housewives franchise. Yeah, I agree. Andy always oh my God, it's going to be the best one yet. It's going to be really good. Okay, sure. I didn't get my hopes up going into it, but I did think that, I don't know. I thought that we'd talk about a little bit more stuff other than Plaingate.
That we didn't get no resolution to. We are still in the same dilemma, the same reasoning, the same as the scene. There is no change in thought.
And I'm getting really annoyed too. And obviously this isn't the only show that does it, but they've done it quite a bit, especially in this reunion. They've made it clear that a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, a lot of this stuff that they're using as supporting evidence has been happening off camera. I don't want to hear about stuff off camera. Either you guys strap cameras on your foreheads 24/7, 365, or I don't want to hear about it, because there's holes in the story then. Even with what we're talking about right now, a lot of this whole thing pretty much happened off camera, and now we're trying to make sense of it. And no, I'm not going to keep doing that. Show us everything we need to see, or don't bring up that part of the storyline.
Absolutely, I so agree with that. Because then we said that early on the first reunion, on the first part, we was like, they kept showing us unseen footage, which was tying everything together for us at the end. And it's like, that's great and all, but if y'all would have just left it in the season, we wouldn't have to wait to the end to find out what was going on. Or like, I think her daughter may have sent her back out to stick up for herself.
Possibly. We know that Olivia is a no limit soldier. We know that she's going to speak her mind. She has really blossomed into what I see as, an intelligent young lady. So maybe she did, because as I'm about to say right now, Brittany does rejoin the ladies on stage, and I feel like her approach was like different. There was a bit of sternness there that I've never seen show up any other time. So maybe that was the secret ingredient, Yvette. And they show parts and previews that we never get to see on all of the. Yeah. That is something that really grinds my gears. And that's why I prefaced it by saying they're not the only show that does it, y'all. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't, but it happens. I mean, I think I deleted the picture, but I know I called them out about even in the trailer, the pictures or whatever, how they did the slumber party, the matching pajamas or whatever on the green. We didn't get to see that, so
no.
really
Sorry.
just Brittany comes back out. When Brittany comes out, though, mind you, Meredith and Mary are talking because, and as we know, there's been kind of like this like low-key, like unspecified tension between, well, more so coming from Mary in the direction of Meredith. And they begin to get into that just a little bit with them both with Meredith, I should say, acknowledging what Mary said, but only for them to get cut off by Brittany, who comes back on the stage talking about some Meredith. What'd she say? Whoa. They squashed it back then. Who did she tell to shut up?
Who?
Did she tell Meredith to shut up? When Brittany was like, I've apologized profusely. I've bawled my eyes out. I've said I was sorry. Shut up. They have squashed it.
Yeah.
Who was she talking to?
Girl, I think because it was they cut it weird. I was thinking she was talking to Meredith, not Mary.
I thought she was talking.
But they I think because the way they chopped it, her and Meredith might have went back and forth a little longer, and then the final cut was shut up, and that's why it looked weird to me. But I was thinking the same thing, like, wait a minute, this shut up came out of nowhere. Where did this shut up come from? Who are you talking to?
They're done. Who are you talking to? That's it. We're moving on. Case closed. And Whitney's like, yeah, but whoa. Like this conversation that was happening between Meredith and Mary, like, that was interesting. Like, let's get into that. And he's like, yeah, let's get back into that. And I don't know about y'all, but I was a little annoyed because I feel like would have been a good thing to jump into, which is, yeah, Mary, we've seen you kind of, I guess we kind of know why she kicked her out of her house last season, but there was a couple instances in this season on the beach when she was calling Meredith boring and stuff like that, and just different things. We've seen Mary kind of talking less than friendly about somebody who she regarded as a friend for, so many years on the show. I wish Andy would have kind of jumped more into that piece, because it's like, yeah, why all of a sudden does it seem like you don't really see it for Meredith Mary? I don't think anyone's asked that. I want to know.
Yeah, it would have been nice to hear it out of her mouth, but we all know why, because Meredith is not seeming to take accountability for the things that she's doing, and Mary looks at her like she's probably spiraling, and there must be something, not making accusations and no allegedly, but the accusations that Whitney threw out there. I don't think that Mary wants to do that same thing, but she's not going to stand for acting like there's nothing, absolutely nothing going on. So,
but
she's still the wrong messenger. Like, literally, Mary, shut up. Like, no.
Well, that doesn't exactly make sense, though, because when I talk about, or when I said how Mary called Meredith boring and all that different stuff on the beach, that was before she started acting weird because that was before Plane Gate, wasn't it? So yeah, that's still, there's been like little things, like I can't think specifically right now, but there's been different times throughout the season and stuff where Mary has just said things and it's like, wait, are you her friend? Do you have a problem with her all of a sudden? It's weird.
It is a little weird. I can admit that because I really hadn't paid attention to it, because I just hadn't paid attention to it. But thinking about it, it would have been nice to know where the tables turn, as you saying. But at the same time, I also look at it as Mary, if she thinks that Meredith has always, and she said this out of her own mouth, Meredith has always had my back, even when other people weren't there for me. She's the only one that made me feel comfortable or inviting on the show. So with that twisted Mary. Let's be clear. I was not a fan of Mary. I became a fan of Mary within last season and this season, where the tables turned, because before that I didn't have it for Mary, right? So, and still with the documentary on Mary, I am still side I am Mary. So some things have transpired where, for me, I'm thinking Mary is confusing the fact that she and Meredith are friends, and she thinks she can just tell her friend whatever she wants and she gonna back down, because all the girls kind of feel, y'all tell me if I'm tripping, but don't all the girls feel like they kind of pull back when Mary pops off? Like they all kind of like lean back, and like even Lisa will keep her head straight. But until she was like, well, even when she said, well, Mary, tell me what I did. Face forward, she didn't turn to Mary. She didn't turn to Mary. She was like, yeah, Mary, give me an example, Mary. Give me an example. See, because if you was bad and about it, you'd have said, Mary, tell me what I did then. And you make eye contact with her so she can make sure she know that you're serious. But she didn't do that. So I feel like some of the ladies kind of pulled back on Mary. I don't know why. Because you guys all... Huh?
You know why. We all know why, which is...
Why? Tell me, sister. Tell me.
Shout outs to the Brooke Ashley specifically, who's made this point time and time again. I feel like, especially over the last couple of weeks, they handle Mary with kid gloves, especially on the show, because if Mary came across and said the things and did the same things that she does on this show on other franchises, she wouldn't get away with it, not even in the slightest. She would be called out all the time. And much of that reason to a lot of us is attributed to the fact that she is the only chocolate chip in the cookie. And I feel like it also, going back to how things were in the beginning of this show or whatever, I feel like because of that backlash, and because, like we said before, putting certain labels on people and stuff like that and speaking on certain topics will sometimes paint you on a negative light. I feel like that's a big reason why they go and coddle her a bit too. So I'm not going to say I dislike Mary across the board just yet, but she's not fooling me. And I'm going to make sure, going into next season, I am more vocal about and more vocal about calling her out when she does the same things that she tries to place on the other ladies.
I agree with that. You and I both, because if y'all don't know, if y'all haven't watched us, if y'all new to us, stay true to us. But if you're new to us, you'll know that me and Barb both had certain feelings about Mary. We always had a little bit of reservation about her. And so, but because she started opening up a little bit more, we were giving her the benefit of the doubt. But I do feel she was really judgy. She was saying things about people that she was doing as well. So I was like, girl, are you paying attention to what you're doing? And I do agree. You're right. They do coddle, because the way us Black women, the way we get down and to the way they get down is a little different. So nobody wants to open up no can of worms they're not used to, or I don't know, I ain't trying to do that. And not to mention the way Mary and Jen used to get into it. So they could see the dynamic, like, ooh, yeah, I'm not trying to, I ain't trying to do all that. Like, I ain't equipped.
Yeah, there's a big difference there, in my opinion. And I would even wait. Now I lost what I was about to say.
Read Yvette's comment too.
Yes, I also heard Seth was called and Lisa took a phone to talk to, but I didn't see that at all. Yeah, that was, I guess, in the Peacock version. We talked about it last week when Meredith called Seth to verify whether or not he has a girlfriend or whatever. I guess that was just in the Peacock version then. But all these little side, like I just, so many things that they talk about that I just don't care about, and this is one of them. At California Cutie, the documentary was purposely to make Mary look bad, did not make other content creators aware their content would appear in the documentary. Documentary lacks credibility bias. Yeah, I think when we talked about the documentary, I believe I mentioned that several of the creators they used, one, they like inflated numbers, and two, yeah, it was much to unbeknownst to those content creators, which I think, yes, automatically kind of makes me side eye how it was done, because yeah, why did you, like, if it's truly how it's happening, and then you wouldn't need to do any like weird stuff like that. And yeah, if you're going to use people's content, like, yeah, why wouldn't you?
I did not know. I didn't realize that they did not know that they were going to be used, because I did see, you know, they did. Well, you know what? Sherelle World, she was interviewed, but I feel like so was Adam. So I feel like how
they knew, I'm pretty sure.
I'm like, how does that work?
Talked about when they used Kempire at least 3 to 4 times. They used Ashley's voice. Those people were not notified. The people that were in it. I mean,
Adam was notified. Yeah. Okay, so you mean, okay, yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'll be mad. Don't be using my content. I mean, like, at the same time, if you're not gonna give me my credit,
because then you use that the snippet, and it's like you don't even know like what the rest of the context of why that person was saying it. You use it to push whatever narrative you're trying to push. No, I don't take officially everything that was said in that documentary as law. Like we keep saying, there's multiple sides to every story, but there is certain parallels that I already seen in Mary or whatever that I'm like, oh, like this, yeah, I could see why that would be the case. Even in this documentary, when they kind of touched on it last week, I can't remember the specific points, but Mary, yeah, when Mary admitted to like kind of being like a little wild or getting kicked out or something like that, like there's certain things where she has been truthful, and it does align with what we saw in the documentary. So I don't think it was all a lie, but there's more to that. I'll say that.
Got you. I was wondering, because I was like,
ooh. Up and Adam said they interviewed him but didn't ask him to narrate and didn't pay him. Yeah, that's shiesty. That's shiesty.
No. Yeah, that's not cool. Because I was wondering the same thing, but like Tisa Tills, when she was talking about Diddy and the Diddy network. Netflix thing. So I'm wondering, was it 50 Cent? However, I was just wondering, because now I'm questioning everybody. I'm side-eyeing everybody. If y'all not paying the content creators that you guys are using, like, don't do that. Like, don't do that, because y'all wouldn't have that. So give them their credit.
That's so shady.
All right, y'all. My hair was getting on my nerve. I need to be able to see y'all.
So what I thought was interesting, though, is that Andy actually does get a chance to ask Meredith the same question that he asked last week that she deflected from, which is, did you drink? Did you have a drink or whatever before getting on the plane? And she's like, yeah, she did have one drink in the lounge before she got on the plane. And Crazy Rich Asians, like, see, I really don't have anything else to say about this plane gate. Like I said before, they're clearly not going to agree on it. Meredith says the reason why she doesn't remember the biggest part of the movie is because she was asleep. Lisa was asleep at different points. Lisa's whole thing is, what really got to her is that on the boat she felt super alone. So if she could have swam home, she would have swam home. And so it really hurt her to see, Meredith now in this position. And then, we got Heather chiming in because she's not gonna miss an opportunity to chime in and say anything and call somebody wrong. And because she was like, what you do is wrong too. But in the same breath, this is just how weird Heather is, because Heather's like, you weren't falsely accused. I accuse you of what I felt is true, and I still believe it's true, and I still love you, and I still want to be your friend.
What? Girl, who? In what world? In what world?
Straight jacket, immediately padded room, Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. You are weird AF, Heather. Because and that's the same thing she was doing on the boat and stuff like that. It's like this weird gaslighting thing, but then switches the script on you. Like, what are we doing?
What was the phrase that she said?
Worst person in the world. Will you marry me? What? Like that's like what I hear when she says these weird things. Like, very odd.
Barb, what did she say when she said, she said, oddly enough, I want to be your friend, but then she said something right after that, and I was like, it was like, call me crazy, but it wasn't that. It was whatever the worst she is. I was looking at her like, girl, like, and I love the fact that Lisa's like, yeah, but I don't know if I want to be friends with you. Girl, no, you don't want to be friends with her. That ain't your friend. And Lisa, I love to look at Lisa. I do. I like to look at Lisa.
Very weird.
But it's just weird that her ass would even, like Lisa said, girl, I don't know if I want to be friends with you.
I definitely would, because I mean, do I need to? We kind of talked about this last week. Like, do we need to go back to this? Like, this is what God speaks of. It's like, oh, I can't stand your guts. Oh my God, will you be my mentor? Like, what? Like, just very
what it is?
Weird.
Barb, have you ever seen The Craft, the first one, the movie The Craft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they changed? Remember when no girl was messing with the boyfriend and she changed it to the girl face, and then when she revealed herself.
Then that Heather, yes.
That's it. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's what I feel.
So much. She's devious. They should bring back Monica for her, or a newbie. Oh God. Oh, not Monica. Yeah, I said that. This is actually
the other way.
Week. I do feel like certain people would have to come back in order for Heather to really be put in her place. I'm not holding my breath on those people coming back though, because of things Andy said. But I don't know.
Get somebody new that'll do it. Get somebody new that will do it.
Yeah, she needs to be brought down to earth, because this show has really gone to her head. Her and Loki, Angie too, but I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Yeah, she's still telling Lisa that she did it, and Heather's like, basically Lisa hits her with the reverse, and all Heather can say is, yeah, well, she's made a lot of bad decisions in an attempt to be liked, and she has boundaries now though, and she loves her. She's not going to back down on this. Very odd behavior. The drug tests at the tea party. What else needs to be said about this? The pills of it all.
They all got on my nerve with that one. Like, they all got on my nerve with that one. No, because I get I
took these pills. I've never taken pills. These is your pills. These pills were prescribed for you, not me.
Barb, did I ever give you any pills when we went up to New Orleans? Did I ever give you any pills in San Diego? Did I ever give you any pills when you came to my house? Or when you came to Colette's house? Have you? And if I did, was it an aspirin? Was it
Mofran? Was it so a sleeping pill, an Ambien? Okay, like what are we talking about?
What, y'all? Because to me, it made it look worse that you guys are all trying to scramble around. Like, no, because I only gave you a Bayer. No. It was a Tylenol 3. No. Yeah, it definitely was Tylenol 3 because they had codeine in it. It was a Tylenol 3. Like, look.
So weird. Who
the hell down?
Who does this? Like, for real, who does this? It's so odd to me. But once again, this is another shining example that they're not going to agree with it. So let's just move on. Because in the end, I don't remember exactly what Andy said, but obviously Meredith's response to his question let him know that she wasn't going to change anything about her story. She didn't need to clear up anything. It was as it was. And I was cool with that. Is this where Brittany thanks Mary for, standing with her in the customs line and stuff like that?
Yeah.
She's
what Mary say? you should have came back. You should have came back in and said that, and that would have been great because it would have. She would have been able to say that, and then it would have went right back over there to Mary and Meredith, and as if nothing happened, and they would have flowed right back into what they were talking about. But oh, Miss Ma'am, want to come in there and talk mess to Meredith after trying to grow a backbone. If your daughter gave you or put a battery in your back, it still felt flat, Bookie. Just like when you stop.
So weird. Before we know it, they cut to wait. Last thing I wanted to say about this, so we can move on. When the conversation was wrapped up, we have attention seeker number 2, which I hate to have to put this label on you, Angie, but goodness. Well, Angie's like, wait, but I have one more thing to say. Huh? What? And she's like, if it was her, if that were her, there would have been an air marshal waiting when they landed. But, I just saw the shape she was in, and it was worse than the shape she was when she left the stage just now. So is it safe to say the feud will be reignited between Meredith and Angie come next season? Because, what were you trying? And was that a threat? I'm confused. What is she talking about if it was her or air marshal? What is she meaning by that part?
Yeah, Angie, shut up. Like, girl, I'm feeling like Kev right now. Like, shut up, Angie. This was not your moment. She's like, we didn't need you to add on at the end. This is not McDonald's. Stop trying to add an extra fry or anything. Stop it, okay? We don't need that. Boy, the landing was hard. It was like boom, 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 boom.
Like, I've been vocal about, I liked having her on the cast. I like what she brought, but my goodness, like, she needs to just tone it down a lot because it's coming across as try hard for real. Because that was so unnecessary to say. Yeah. And if Meredith decides to make you public enemy number 2 or 3 next season, it's gonna be what it is because this is what I mean.
Wait, sis, is it going to be what it is, or is Lisa and Angie? Never mind. Go ahead.
I don't even know. Like, they do this season. They wrap up and we're going to start anew where we love each other. And it's going to be the same stuff next season. So I don't spare me. Get back to the stage. Andy gives the ladies their flowers. Yeah, I wanted to actually stop here to ask. I do feel like a transparency check. Do we feel like this is like one of the most like transparent casts pretty much across the board? Do we feel like they're like always coming with their truth and stuff like that across the board? I feel like that's kind of what Andy was, the point he was getting across. I do think they give us things and like it is still, I feel like refreshing a lot of times for me to watch SLC as opposed to some of the other franchises, but I can't sit here and act like they, like none of the other franchises bring like the same level of realness or anything like that. I don't know. I feel like yes, give them their just due, but like I feel like he was laying it on just a little bit thick with that.
Of course, because he wants them. Oh, I'm sorry, sister. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, coming from somebody who really does. I enjoy this show. Don't think I don't think that they should get a little bit of pats on the back because it is nice. I feel like they do work together as an ensemble cast and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like this is just like, whoa, this completely reinvented the wheel. Like,
well, I think he was giving them their kudos because he felt like he might feel a little guilty about some of the housewives and how like Bronwyn and her husband being separated, and maybe feels like this platform had a little bit to do with it, which it didn't. Like she said, it only was going to enhance the cracks that were already there. And so but I feel like in that moment, Andy was really trying to give him them kudos for really, opening it up. Cause I don't know, like I didn't want to open up on here. And that's why I don't have the kind of content I really want, because I'm like literally conflicted on what I want to share and how I want to share. I lived a lot of life. I got a lot of things to say, but I also don't want those things used against me. I don't know how other people are going to take them. I don't want them to take my words and spin them. And so them being on TV, I'm just talking about my little bitty channel, my itty bitty channel that I want you guys to subscribe to. I'm just saying, it literally, when you think about the bigger platform and what they're really putting out, is a lot. Us knowing about Whitney and her husband, us knowing about Bronwyn and her husband looking at other women on his phone. I mean, when we go down a list of things, and I'm talking about even down to Candy and her husband, all of them, all the housewives, they all put it out there. So like you said, they didn't reinvent nothing, but at the same time, I guess he was just saying, you guys all were very vulnerable this season, or the people that we didn't think were going to be as vulnerable were, and he was giving them their kudos for that. I don't know if he was really saying like, well, I don't know, because me and you and a few of us, we were like really on Salt Lake City. Like, if y'all ain't watch Salt Lake City, where y'all been? Yeah. So we literally all feel the same way. And let's be clear, I pretty much watch no bias, but yes bias. I pretty much watch most of the Black housewives because I can relate better to them, not because of anything. Beverly Hills, yeah, they're from my city. They're from I drove to Beverly Hills. I've been in Beverly Hills houses, all that good stuff. But that's not that. I watched them, but I couldn't relate to them as much because there was more white people on there, and then I just couldn't relate to them as much because that's not my level. Nice to watch though, but at the same time, Salt Lake City, for them to be a more clear cast, I don't have no complaints with them. Like, I don't have no complaints with them. Like, literally, the franchise from start to finish or start to now, it's been good for me. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed this ride. Not this particular part 3, but I enjoyed the ride of Salt Lake City for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. I just thought he was being a little like, okay, Andy.
Because I've told you what it is, sister. He wants them to keep giving, even though there's things going on. There's things going on that may not.
There is a lot of truth that we get, but at the same time, we have the Heathers and even Whitney's that, yeah, they might stir up drama and stuff like that, but clearly even with Whitney, there's a lot more going on there that, I mean, hey, maybe they cut it out. Who knows? Maybe
they ain't cut nothing out. You saw what I saw, and you heard what I heard. And we gonna get to it. Yeah,
they cut out of the season, so maybe some of her solo scenes did get reduced, but clearly there's a lot more there that I expect to see something new with her this upcoming season, as opposed to the lack of storyline I feel like she's been giving us. Heather hasn't said since like season 1, I feel like, about her life for real.
Well, hopefully we dive into her being an empty nester, her dating and all that stuff, because that's where she's at now. We had to watch her graduate to that. So like, I'm okay with watching her transformation and all this other stuff. Hers is okay. But next season we can't have her skating through, and ping ponging off of people's stuff. Hey, you don't get the ride. You don't get no free ride. You one of the heads, right? You want to be a producer, right? You want to be the head honcho, correct? So you're gonna have to get up out of that. You're gonna have to give us some more. Give us some more.
Exactly. No, that's not even the right part. Okay, so. And Heather crying just kept annoying me. But anyway, interesting enough, Andy asked Whitney about her business and the inventory, that whole situation that we never revisited since we had heard about it on episode 2 of this season. So, and the update is as follows. She's fully separated. as of the middle of the summer. Unfortunately, she did have to rebuy back all of her inventory, but she does officially own Wild Rose Beauty solo. And this is where I will say I dislike the fact that Andy went on to ask her, he went on to kind of shed light on the Justin and Whitney of it all versus asking her, did she pay those employees the money that she was owed them? I feel like that's the real question that should have been asked, because that's wrong. I still stand by that not being right. And I want to know the answer to that. But I guess we'll never know.
I got a question, sis, because I know it's still on this though. So it was alleged that she didn't pay her employees. So when Justin and her had that, they had that scene, and she said that they had just debited or took money out of their account. Was that for inventory? That had nothing to do with any of the other people? You don't know what it was for?
But I remember me looking at her sideways because she made it clear that in so many words, she didn't really, what she was saying let me know she didn't really care too much about making sure those people got paid. I'd have to go back and specifically watch what was explicitly said, but I remember being like, Whitney, that's wrong. Like, you need to pay those people or something. So
yeah, I agree with that. She definitely needs to square that away, because to me,
yeah,
it's hard to move forward or even get good grace if you're not paying back or doing what you were supposed to do to rectify the first thing that made you lose a business or whatever the case may be. You definitely need to get back with whatever that is. Like, that's just crazy. So hopefully, I don't think Whitney and Justin are in a good place. I think the reason why she was crying so much is because she was empathizing more with Bronwyn than she was letting on, and that's why she needed a break and to go see Justin. And even Justin said to her, that's my son, y'all. Sorry, he must be about SZA or Summer Walker. He like, the tickets is on sale. Sorry, but literally, I'm sorry, lost my chain of thoughts. Tell me what I was just saying, sister, because I know you remember. What was I just saying?
How Justin and her aren't really good.
Okay. Oh yeah, so they're not. I think that they're more. I think there's more to what Whitney was letting on, and the reason why I say that is because when her and Justin were in the background, they hugged, and he said, he reassured her that everything was going to be okay, and then it was something that Whitney said. I can't remember exactly in this moment, but it whatever it was, it was something like, it's gonna all work out. And when they said that, I was like, it's all gonna work out, or it will work out. I was like, meaning something is moving, and it's in the gray area. It's something ain't right. So I'm feeling like Justin is trying to tell her like everything's gonna be okay, like kind of like trust the process. And I feel like Whitney is in 1 foot in, 1 foot out of her marriage. And it as much as she said, I don't resent him, I don't believe that she believes that. I don't believe.
It's just, I always think that I'm the one that messes up. Like, that sounds cute, but no, I do think there's either some more resentment there, or you're not just completely taking the blame. Like, no.
I think that's why she's having a conflict, because this time she's not taking the full blame. She like, look, I did something, you've done something, yours is more detrimental because now I lost my whole business. And the fact that she said that she did it solo is not that because it was solo before, but when somebody makes a mistake and that mistake came from your husband, or what you said, it was really something that he did, I still was like, why would, I understand it's your company and maybe y'all agreed on it, but I just, something about that just felt weird. Like, I don't trust you enough to put it in your name or have us co-do this. So I feel like Whitney, that's a big step for Whitney. For Whitney not to put her husband on this, I feel like that's saying a lot. I'm reading lines. Hey, cousin.
I think the only other thing, or just to summarize what you said and bring it back to this scene, Whitney just made it about how Andy did ask her flat out, does she resent him? She said no. Okay. She does get like, really upset and everything like that. But it was like she was saying one thing, but her expressions and her demeanor said a lot more for me. And so we also get like, and then Mary, once again, rude as fuck. Sitting there with her eyes closed. Mary, your eyes were closed. I love how Whitney was like, oh, am I boring you or whatever. On the other show, they would have said a lot. So another like example, y'all. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's nice to know. I'm sorry, y'all. I see my green pants and I can see them. I thought they was gonna, so I can wear olive. Okay, that's good to know. I was like,
you were wondering, if Whitney will be able to bounce back from this, her and Justin this time around, because it was looking pretty bleak there for a minute. But she says that they bounced back from harder. Once again, mouth saying one thing, everything else was kind of, there was more there. Heather's empty nester, Seth saying that he's pansexual, and next gen.
That's Seth.
I thought it was Seth. I'm pretty sure it was Seth, and she was like, I think he was being lighthearted or making light or something. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
I thought the Sun said that on his show.
I thought Seth said that on the Sun show.
Oh, I didn't watch the show, so I don't give me
the
line.
I didn't watch
it. I'm sorry. They too young for me. That's like watching my own kids. I mean, I want them to watch me because I'm their mama, but I'm not about to watch y'all.
Chloe is still working for Meredith. I don't really care about that. We already know that Brittany thought it was a good idea to bring Jared to BravoCon, even though Olivia was not cool with that. She did an interview. I need to find an interview and watch it. Apparently, she talked more about that.
If you do find it, sister, send it to me because I want to watch it too.
Yeah. Then I feel like more time should have been. Okay. So yeah, it was Seth.
Okay. I was like, wait. I thought it was like Brooke said that.
No, I feel like
after Brooke said that, I was in my head like Brooke said that.
Yeah, because Meredith was like, yeah, because if that's the case, I would like to know, or we have to talk.
We have a conversation. When she said that, it makes more sense now, because when she said that, I was like, why would you have to have a conversation with your son if that's what he said? It's not even none of your business. He said what he said, and then you respect it. Like, what conversation? So it makes more sense now. Thank y'all, because I was a confusion.
Yeah, Brittany still doesn't know how to be the parent that her daughter needs, it seems. But in brighter news, for her at least, she had both daughters home for Christmas for the first time in 6 years.
That's right.
But y'all, something that I found interesting that we haven't talked about since we first heard about it on the show was the Lisa and John of it all. And someone had wrote in to say, it seems as though John wants to embarrass Lisa on camera the same way that Todd embarrasses Bronwyn. Like, what's really going on in your marriage, sis? And Lisa's like, she's, it was a very long, hard-hitting conversation, grabs tissue. When she watched it back, she cried for like 2 days. She didn't want to talk to John. She didn't want to see John. Like, and her whole thing is like, why would he say those things? It kind of came as like a jab to her, because he knows that those are things that hurt her. And Andy's like, well, one of John's main points pretty much was that you don't take in what he's saying. You don't hear him. And Lisa says he did say that. He knows that she knows that she's made very concerted efforts. She can fit sentences in, or she can fill his sentences in at times. They're business partners, they're best friends, they're parents, you know, it's the love of her life, etc. So she would, you know, she was like, you know, I would even, I would die before I make him look bad. But Heather's like, you know, we all love John. We know John, and, you know, we side with John. And then we have Mary calling herself trying to help Lisa, but Lisa's not being receptive to it. Because, you know, these are her feelings. She's speaking from her feelings. And of course, Heather's going to call that out because she lives to just come for Lisa and be all about Lisa. So how do we feel about this? I know that was something that we kind of were like, okay, interesting. Something we never really seen on the show before, because classically, I like to think I speak for the majority of us when I say that for the most part, John has been a man of few words, and when he does say words on the show, it usually seems like it's in agreement with what Lisa says or how she thinks about stuff. Like Lisa is more of the vocal person in that group, at least on the show. So when they did have that conversation earlier on the season, I feel like a lot of our eyes were like, oh, interesting. Okay. This is new to us. So for me, I think, because I said it back then, I do think this is something that they can get through and get past and stuff like that. But it's really going to call for Lisa, as Lisa says in the wrap up at the end, intake. It's going to take a lot of listening, a lot of accountability, a lot of, you know, all of those things working together, because she's like, you know, how else does this house run? Like, how does he, you know, how does his shirts get dry cleaned, and how does, you know, care packages get sent to oldest son? Like, so I got where she was coming from, but it's like, if you've been like this in other interpersonal relationships, other interpersonal friendships on the show, your husband's now saying this or whatever, so there has to be some truth to it. And maybe just because you think that you're doing it, and this is something I even had to learn, and being in my marriage, it's like sometimes the way you think you're coming off, or the way in which you think you're showing up for the other person, is not always the way that they receive it. Or you might think that you're knocking it out of the park in one area, or you're actually applying what is being said, but sometimes like that it's possible for you not to be on target with it. So maybe that's something that Lisa needs to kind of understand and acknowledge, that, yeah, she might be giving her best effort, but that's not necessarily what's being asked of her. Listening to her might be a whole different thing than what listening is to him. They need to match up on those types of principles, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I agree with a lot of things you said. When it comes to Lisa specifically saying that, you know, she would die first before she would embarrass him or you know, or have any ill will towards him on the screen. But I seen her, I'm not gonna say be disrespectful, but where she shut him down or didn't let him speak or finish his thoughts, like where she keeps saying, well, you know, I finish his thoughts. Is he finishing your thoughts too? Because there's a difference. When partners are partnering, you guys finish each other's thoughts. There's a difference if you're finishing his thoughts. That means you are interrupting.
We're trying to speak to him, like.
Mm-hmm. So I think the perspective that Lisa is giving is, I don't like to use the word so much, but almost like from a narcissistic point of view. Like she's like, and because it's not that she's playing victim, she's saying, look, I'm giving 150%. You know, I don't know why John is acting like I'm not. John is not saying you're not giving you 150%. John is saying you're not listening to me and you're not letting me give my 150% because you want to do it all. And so when you say like, oh, well, his clothes is clean and the care packages is sent.
He asked for you to listen. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you're making the household run, and that's fine. That's
okay,
usually what
okay, Cecil. What do you mean? I'd be cooking, I'd be doing this, like, okay. You're not, it's not it's not, you're doing
it's not that's not a reciprocation. That's not reciprocal to what we're talking about. So yeah, it is a weird thing to see Lisa, say that, she was so hurt. She cried for 2 days, and she just couldn't believe how he did her on TV. And it's like, is it that he did you like a certain way in TV, or are you listening to what he's saying, which is, you're not listening to me. When we have a discussion, it's all about you and what you think. And if I go to talk, I have to literally tell you to, hey, talking. I'm scared to read it.
Laugh. I don't know.
But yeah, like literally, it's just so weird because like Lisa really thinks that she's doing the greatest job, and like you said, I'm guilty of that too. I always think that I'm the best spouse, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm not. I'm fucking not. Let's be clear, I am not. I'm full of mistakes. I'm full of things that I wish I could take back. I am, and so with that, I just wish Lisa would say, you know what? Well, she did. She said, I am. He knows. It's funny. He knows that I've been taking, I'm going out of my way to listen to him. Why you gotta go out your way? Why you gotta go all the way out your way? Why is it such a big deal? I'm doing it. He can see it. It's like, girl, that means that you really wasn't listening. If you really have to concentrate, hey, John's talking. Shut your mouth. Let's listen. Let's hone into what he's saying. What? Yeah. You need a pat on the back for doing that. So yeah, so I kind of feel bad that she's going through that and she doesn't see it. But hopefully she sees this reunion and she sees what everybody else is saying. Because like Heather was saying, we're all on John's side. We're all on John's side. John is the man. We're high-fiving him. And I'm like, I don't know about we all doing all that. I don't know if we're all doing all that because John is not no saint. And John got some mistakes he's doing. And I don't know why. Heather was weird in this reunion. I don't know if y'all peeked out, but Heather was weird. She was so weird in this. Her looks, the way she was, I don't know, her reactions and things, everything was weird to me with her. I don't know, is it because she didn't have a lot going on for herself and she was trying to get in where she fit in and it was like still falling flat? I don't know. I just felt like she was a try hard. She was pick me for the show. Like, what the hell?
Get weird. The lady pills. Get her some pills. No, same exact thing. I think she really is going to have to take a step back and look from the outside in onto how she shows up. And I mean, since we're on the subject, it would probably be a good idea just to take a look at all her relationships, her marriage and the friend ones, because it's kids. I'm not going to say yes, kids too. I'm not going to say that it in every way do I agree that the way she shows up in her marriage is the same way she shows up in all the relationships on this show. I won't say that because, again, fingers pointing out, fingers pointing in. But I do see how there could be some similarities in what's been brought up. Not everything, but some. So I think she is going to have to take a long, hard look. I mean, because if we can understand how love languages work and stuff like that, then it should be understood that, hey, you're not exactly, what you're doing is not resonating. It's not coming across clearly to your partner, which is the person that matters in this situation. Speaking of languages, I wonder what hers is. I'd be curious. It's probably gift giving for one, for sure.
For sure.
Bottom line, Lisa backpedaled John's interaction. John called her out on her BS, and now she has egg on her face. LOL. And that's the thing too. Like, I don't feel like this conversation. I wasn't looking at this conversation taking away from it like, ooh, like you're messed up, or this person. I just thought it was a real vulnerable moment in a marriage. So I wasn't looking at either of them differently. Again, her feelings are her feelings, but like, I don't see why she needed to go cry about it. Just like, I don't really feel like John was being mean to her. Like, I don't know. In Lisa's eyes, it made her look awful, but to me, it made her more real and vulnerable. We all fall short sometimes on relationships. Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't bad. It happens. Heather is that single white female as it relates to Lisa.
For real.
It's weird, and her chin is getting longer instead of her nose. Heather, I mean, yeah, she's to slow down. Y'all, I'm pro do whatever you want with your body, but she needs to. Okay,
it's hardening her face. It's hardening her. It's making her look like Vera from Living Color.
Yeah, she needs to pump the brakes on that.
Like, don't do it, girl. Chill out. Calm down, chill face.
When we come back, oh Jesus! So then we get into the Bronwyn Newport of it all, y'all. Her dad had unfortunately passed away right when they got back from Greece due to a bad fall, which is why I have really bad PTSD when it comes to old people and falling and stuff like that. Like, whew. Her mom had never admitted out loud that her husband suffered from dementia / Alzheimer's. So when he passed, she just kept saying like, oh, it was came out of nowhere, like, oh my gosh. And it actually took Bronwyn and Gwen needing to sit her down to let her know, like, no, he's been dealing with this for like 10 years. Like, it didn't just go out of nowhere. She just couldn't accept that is what was happening to her husband. And speaking of her mother, Andy, of course, makes mention of how Muzzy is on Bronwyn, and, you know, in turn, how viewers were being tough on Muzzy. And she was like, yeah, you know, at first, when they first had that one conversation, her mom came back to her very upset, like, oh my gosh, like, is this how I show up? Is this how I speak to you? Am I this stern, et cetera, et cetera? And then so on and so forth as the segments started to air and stuff. Obviously, as we know, fans can be very, very vocal and critical, which, I mean, we all do it. I get that. And a lot of us were not really here for how Muzzy was showing up on the show and how she was coming across. It wasn't very becoming, if you ask me. And Mary's kind of taken aback by this because she's like, wait, she was so nice and stuff. And Brown was like, yeah, I mean, we're multi-dimensional beings, you know. And it actually took her mother to maybe see this to kind of understand more about how she is and stuff like that. And more so, speaking about like her pregnancy, for instance, that was more so maybe like a moment for her mom to show the world that she still had allegiance to her daughter, more so than it was about doing anything or shining light on her being a less than nurturing mom, so to speak. And Bronwyn also explains how her parents had become integrated in her life in Salt Lake, and how Todd had stepped in financially, as we've heard pretty much all that before. And Andy's like, you know, it's nice to see Todd in that light. I think that's a light we haven't seen him in before. And as she's attempting to respond, Bronwyn is like, so is there gonna be more questions about Todd? And he's like, yeah. What's happening? And Bronwyn was like, well, do you want me to start with where we are now, or do you want me to start with where we were on the show and work our way forward? Completely flipped the script on him. Clearly she's well versed in PR. And Andy, like the seasoned producer he was, he's like, you know, well, I want to know whatever Bronwyn wants to tell me. And so when we come back from break, that's where we hear the bomb being dropped that Bronwyn and Todd are separated. It was her choice. Andy asked Bronwyn what's the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And she just said it was just very hard for her to watch herself and have so many of the conversations this season. She doesn't think she really meant a lot of things that she was saying in the moment, even. more specifically like the open marriage and stuff like that. It sounded good or whatever, but like truly, is that really how she felt on the inside? And they kind of got to a space where it's not like she was trying to forgive him or as though they were moving forward, but they now got into a space of him not want to talk about things. She can't talk about those same things with her friends, as we've seen on this season with her and Whitney. And Heather even asked her, like, did Todd want you to quit the show? And Bronwyn says, like, no, it's not that he ever asked me explicitly to quit the show, but she knew that it was only going to pretty much magnify the cracks in her marriage from here on out. So there was no teamwork. She felt like she was PR for him. The respect was like non-existent. At this point in time, he's in New York. She's still in Salt Lake. And yeah, that's where they're at with it. And at this point, Whitney's getting noticeably upset to the point she has to excuse herself. She goes in the back, and this is how we mentioned before about her going in the back. Justin was there to console and embrace her. And, you know, she starts talking about it. She was triggered based on everything they're going through. Okay. They bring up the cherry. Remember how he took the cherry off her ice cream and stuff after she told him that she didn't like that. It was interesting because Lisa was like, oh, I thought that was just him being a guy or a man. And then Meredith is like, well, you know, pretty much if you weren't already in like a bad space or whatever, it might have seemed like something funny, but because you guys were in a bad space, it wasn't very humorous. And Mary also was like thinking like, oh, that would have been funny or something like that. Okay. So all in all, Andy asked her if she felt like the show broke them up. She would say that no, it didn't break them up. It just highlighted that they were growing in different directions and really just put a spotlight on all that. This is a conversation that needed to happen. And so that's where they're at. And by that point, Whitney had rejoined them on the stage. And yeah, we'll see what's in store for them in the future or not. How do we feel about that, y'all? Hey.
Hey,
what's going on?
My son. It was weird, not weird. It was, oh yeah, that was damaging. That was sad. Yes, I was about to look up, and I was gonna say that too, Kev, that she looked like Mac tonight, and so I was like looking up the, because yeah, he's just a moon with a long chin. So yeah, it's funny that you said that because I literally was gonna say that, but I didn't say it for whatever reason. But literally, when she said that by the chin, and Barb was still talking, now that's what image popped in my head as well. As far as Bronwyn's mom and also her husband, the way that they both came to Bronwyn when they found out how they looked to the audience and had to come to her and say, like, do I not give you eye contact when I talk to you all the time? But did you see yourself give her eye contact on TV? So for you to even question yourself, you stuck your foot in the mud. Okay, so now go back to Muzzy. Muzzy's like, yeah, I don't understand. She doesn't understand why people are coming for her. And she asked her, is it whatever the question was for her? And we all know, yeah, you're mean to her, or yeah, your humor is dry with your daughter, and some things you say could be funny, but your face don't get funny. It's different if I'm saying a joke about you, Barb. Your hair is big. It's cute. I like it. You're gonna see in my face. You can tell I like it. It's cute. It's big. If I said, Barb, your hair is big. It's cute. Do you feel the same energy? You do not. It doesn't feel the same. It feels like my hair is cute. It's big. What? It's the way that Muzzy talks to her daughter, and she saw it, and now it's like, oh my gosh, is that how I am? Yes. You and Todd are both that way to Bronwyn. I'm glad y'all both saw it. I'm sorry you guys had to feel the heat of the chats and the people talking about you guys. But you have to understand when you put yourself out there, just like a content creator, just like anybody that's in the industry, when you put yourself out there, you have to get ready for the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't just think it's all gonna be good. It's not. It's just not all gonna be good. You either got to get ready to get in the trenches, be ready to, say, okay, I hear what you're saying and whatever, and move on. It's just not all gonna be cherries and whipped cream. It's just not. So I found that funny that the both of them felt that way and they both saw themselves and just to understand, or at least put themselves in it like, well, dang, Bronwyn, is this how I look? Like, yeah, this is what Bronwyn has to deal with between her mom and her husband and who she's been around this whole time. It was sad to hear about her father, and the fact that it wasn't due to his disease that he, indirectly into his disease that he passed, that he fell. That was kind of a bummer to hear, especially her coming off of, such a beautiful place like Greece to come back to that. But you do, y'all remember that when she went to go talk to the psychic, and the psychic was like make sure you're making things right, da, 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 da. And for a moment, I think she thought about her mom and that she would be the one that probably, God forbid, before the father. I think she didn't realize that, because the way the psychic was talking, and he did make it seem like one of the parents was about to move swiftly, and that you need to do what you need to do to get it going. So the fact that I think she thought it was Muzzy and not the dad, kind of a little sad for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember that. And I mean, she said like, at this point he had been dealing with it for like 10 years. So she probably like, yeah, like this is just our life. Like it's just going to continue to happen. Not that there was going to be like some big catalyst of, a fall that was going to actually be the final thing.
And the fact that the fact that the mom had never came to terms with that is behooving, because what do you think he's in the hospital for? What do you think that
I don't know
he had to come live with his daughter for, and that she couldn't help take care of him? So you thought your daughter put him in a home because of what?
I mean, I'm sure people not being able to like cope with like someone literally dying, but like, yeah, I don't know what she's been thinking. It's been going on for 10 years.
Hospice is different. Hospice is like different.
Delusional a little bit or something. Like you don't know how you come across with your daughter. You were like in denial, so to speak, about your husband, which again, I understand for a little while, but 10 years, that's okay.
And don't forget when she was talking about Bronwyn, and Bronwyn felt a way, like Bronwyn said, that she thinks that her mom basically was trying to let the Mormons know, signal to the Mormons, whistle blow to the Mormons that she wasn't on board for her daughter and her granddaughter. And
just say it with your chest.
Girl, first of all, let's be clear, Muzzy. I'm a grandmother too, so I can speak to you as a grandmother. Bitch, you wrong on so many levels. You're so wrong on so many levels. The fact that your granddaughter even likes you, loves you, has anything to do with you, the way you treated her mom during pregnancy, when I was conceived, all that stuff, girl, good luck. Because I would have to feel a certain kind of way about you. I'll be side-eyeing you. Like, you did that to my mom. Are you okay? And the fact that you're still doing it to my mom, like, I would have to sit you to the side and bring my Granny, come here, Granny.
Perception.
Come here. Really, let me tell you something, because you're not about to do that to my mom while I'm on my watch. That's not gonna happen. You need to be checked, and it might be me to check you, and not in a disrespectful way, but look, you can't do this. You've been doing this a long time, and you love me. I'm like one of the best things that happened to you, but for whatever reason, you want to punish my mom for something she did. How old am I? Girl, get over it, Muzzy. You ain't got much time, Muzzy.
I question her perception, because like, yeah, this is like another example of her just kind of like she's kind of low key, like delusional. It seems like a little bit like she lives in a different reality. It seems Muzzy does, because we can't all be seeing these same things and feel these types of ways. And you're wrong, and you don't see anything wrong with anything. Not to mention, she like Bronwyn, it is what it is. Like you're, oh, it's still my mom, or whatever. Bitch, you knew exactly what you were doing when you brought this lady on the show. Is what I still believe. And even if you didn't think that, you know how the show works. You watched it before. You based on the fact that last season, people were being so critical and saying so many things about Todd. Why would you then think, oh yeah, let me bring my mom on, knowing how your mom is, knowing how she makes you feel, knowing that you guys have a interesting relationship, bring her on and think that nobody's gonna have anything to say?
Your mom is not exempt. Nobody's exempt from reality TV.
You knew what you were doing, and it is what it is. I don't feel bad.
But do you think she was being calculated? Do you think it was a calculated move to put Muzzy there to so that Muzzy could see herself?
You knew what you were doing. Yes, exactly. She knew what she was doing, and she's done it time and time again. I feel like with the ladies and stuff like that. I feel like at the end of the day, even if she wants to claim that she didn't think that was going to happen, like just based off of history, like I said, even going back to last season, we know how social media works. We know all this. So you definitely didn't safeguard her. And I think they both need to go to therapy. And Todd also going on this deep dive of watching all the show back, and I'm just like, that's rich coming from you, because even if that was the case, no, I feel like Bronwyn knew when she came on this show day one that she was not about to be with him anymore. But for conversation's sake, say that he, like, the answers were always there, Todd. You chose not to listen to your wife about anything. You chose to not only refuse, you didn't want her talking to anybody about it. You didn't want to talk about it. No, there's no more progression there. But then now all of a sudden you want to go read stuff and actually take in what's being said. Like, sorry, you snooze, you lose, and whatever happens from there is just what it's going to be. Like she said, he thought like, oh yeah, what does it matter? I've shown up for her so many times in so many ways. Why does it matter if I don't look at her one time when she speaks, or why, I take the cherry one time or whatever? Like, I'm glad that she's realized that she doesn't have to deal with that, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, I feel like this is something that exists a lot of times, especially in relationships that have an age dynamic. I feel like a lot of times the one individual is set in their ways, and it's pretty much their way or the highway, so to speak. And when you try to break them out of that, you're seen as the bad guy, or they will just like, override you. And so hopefully her wanting to separate is the first thing in line of her actually healing all these areas of herself, because it plays out in all of her relationships, the things that she has to work on.
She said that too. She said that though. And I love that she said that. I love that she saw that she watched herself back, and even saying things that when she said said that, she was willing to do it like a little baby threesome, or, to try to make the relationship better, knowing that was going against what she really truly felt. But in the moment she thought that was the best thing to say. And even Todd couldn't even look her in the face when she said it. He was looking over with his little pink shirt and his little jeans, like, she over here, he over here, like, what is she talking about right now? So I know that threw him off. But here's my other thing. Todd, who helped you get your ex and your all these accounts, bruh? Who you talking to, bruh? Ain't no way you came up with it all by your little old self. I'm gonna make me an account. I'm gonna go look at everybody what they said about me. No, somebody you messing with, or somebody that is trying to get your attention, help you come to that conclusion, or they themselves is using this particular thing that's happening between you and your wife as a thing to make it get closer to you. So in other words, you're talking to some lady, young lady, woman, person, they know that you're dynamic, they're into X, Instagram, all the things, YouTube and all the things. And so they're like, oh yeah, you didn't know that you, oh yeah, I follow your account. Yeah, I could show you. And so when she went to go show him, he was like, well, she was like, well, we only got this much time together because I know you got to go get back with Bronwyn. So here, let's make you an account.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just allegedly, but literally, I don't think this man came up with that himself. What would make you, the fact that he even want to go watch the shows again, knowing that the first season you was on it, you even went to the reunion. So what would make you go watch? So you're telling me you didn't watch the first one and you went to the reunion without watching the season? How does that happen?
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't, whatever. I
think that too. I think that too, Kevin. I do think that. I think she used her mom to get on put her there, knowing that one or two things can happen. One, Muzzy can see herself on the show and maybe she will wake up and be like, dang, I'm harsh on my daughter. Or two, the chat is gonna go up, and not that she needs to see everything, but maybe one or two comments will get by her, or maybe her granddaughter will come and tell her, or maybe I can have a discussion with her, like, Mom, look what or Muzzy, look what they're saying about you, or how they took this scene about us. So yeah, I do agree. I think that to some extent she knew, like, we know how Housewives and reality TV work. You knew to some extent what you put your mom and your husband into.
Facts. I don't really have too much to say about anything actually after this. Then before we know it, back into Heather and Meredith and how they're not really friends right now. They can't seem to agree on anything. And then we also jump into Bronwyn being upset with Meredith as well. Because the Mother's Day phone call, Brooke's that whole thing gets brought up. And Meredith says that's not why she was really losing it, but there's no point in bringing it up because it won't go anywhere. And Andy's like, what are you talking about? Like, are you mad at production? And Meredith says, this is a lot. It's not going to go well. She's shaking her head. Whitney's chiming in because she has a big ass problem with Meredith throwing production under the bus. Mary starts crying because she doesn't like that. I'm like, yeah, wow, that's coming from both of you guys. Like the kiss assness was like so apparent for me, at least. Meredith literally admitted this on stage. Like, she wasn't trying to talk about it at the moment, but then we see this like little clip that was apparently, I guess, cut out from like minutes before, where Meredith does admit that she was talking about production. Very, very weird. And then the lunch between Bronwyn, Whitney, and Mary is brought up, with Meredith saying that she never asked Meredith, or with Meredith saying she never asked Bronwyn about it. Bronwyn is denying that. They begin to go toe to toe. And the main thing to me in this moment that stood out was the fact that Bronwyn was really like talking her talk at Meredith. And I'm like, I feel like if anybody should get this type of energy for how they've came at you, Bronwyn, it should be like, I don't know, Heather maybe, for not disliking you and having so much to say about you and stuff in the past. Because no, I don't, Meredith, because of what she's gone through, especially on the show with her marriage and stuff like that, I don't believe, or I do believe that that's a big reason why she's never came at you or said anything not in support about your marriage. So again, the way that you came at her, like, you could, if I was Meredith, like, you could never talk to me like that. talking about sit the fuck down and like, girl, who are you talking to?
Girl.
I don't know who she was talking to. The Angie and Lisa dynamic gets brought up a bit. We kind of touched on this earlier, but they're just going to be back in the same place next season, y'all. Quite honestly, I feel. The US Weekly shoot, hamster wheel, unreal expectations, superficiality. Mary speaks up for Angie, which I found to be interesting. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that part. My notes kind of got very vague towards the end, y'all. I can't even lie, because it was the same thing. And before we know it, like, they were closing out the episode with that, sharing everybody sharing what they learned throughout the season. Mary learned it's important to see yourself and put out the energy that you want to receive. Okay. Whitney learned so much, like failure being the universe redirecting you. Brittany learned patience. And if you can just ground yourself and be patient, good things will come, and focus on the things that are important. Angie learned acceptance. Shout out to Electra. Meredith learned the importance of making sure you're communicating clearly with your friends. And even though if they're not really giving you the opportunity to answer, you need to find a way to get your voice heard. Backhanded, okay? Heather says she doesn't know if she learned it, but it became crystal clear to her that the best moments of my life have been with you guys, and some of the darkest moments of her life as well. And that is pretty remarkable. And when she says she can give it all to these women, she really can. And she wants to say how much she truly loves and cherishes their friendships. Bronwyn, Mary says that's why we get so hurt. Bronwyn says this season she really understood that she thinks that change is negative sometimes, or that there's been a failure or something done wrong. And so change actually can be a good thing. It has to start with her, and she has to change the way she shows up in some of these friendships. And she's change the way she interacts with her mom, maybe with Todd, Gwen, etc. And Lisa ends it off with saying that intake is very important, really not just hearing, but really listening for understanding and moving forward. Heather and Angie especially say they can't wait to see that in action. And that's where we end, y'all. All that here and out the other.
Was it me, or was it me? Because didn't it seem like Lisa was really, really, really wanting to be friends with Angie again? I was like, what's going on?
I think that they do really like each other, and I just think
they have a lot of comments.
If the show wasn't on, if they weren't on the show, I don't think anything that's been going on between them negatively would be an issue. I think it's all because of the show, honestly, and them trying to make moments and stuff. And Lisa, y'all just go be friends and keep it.
Well, I just the way, just with even the dusty products that came out of Angie's spot and stuff, it was just like, oh my gosh, you guys. So yeah, I hope they can get back to being friends again. The ending was flat. I don't know why we had to hear Heather tell us, because that had nothing to do with learning anything or the takeaway or the whatever Andy asked. It wasn't what he asked. So, but hey, we got through it.
Yes, y'all.
There were some things that we could have got into a little bit more that we said. Oh, excuse me, that we said earlier. But for the most part, it's over.
And I'm cool with that, y'all. If I had to rate this all three parts together, I feel like I'm being generous, and even giving it a 6, honestly, is higher than I feel like is deserved.
I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a. I'm right in the middle. I might give it 5.5.
I understand.
I think you're right. I think 6 is generous.
Yeah.
Not for the season that we had. Not for the season that we had.
I mean, but honestly, the season for me kind of like I still enjoyed watching it, but at the same time, it did. When I really look at it, it did start to fall flat because they so much of the conversation started to revolve around Playgate. We never really got into anything else. I feel like that was worth talking about because they made it all about this, and then now we see all these other things that happen offline. That is just like, couldn't we have got that? So I really do hope next season that they are very mindful about what they show us and making sure that they don't leave any holes in the story. Yeah.
Other thing is, I did not, I didn't say anything about the Mary and production and how they were so enthralled with, oh my gosh, please don't come for production. You know, we were in Us Weekly and it was the other half and you know, and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, and then we have those two ladies that are coming, like don't cover the production. And we have Meredith on the other hand that's saying, hey, you know, Meredith and when production has done yet another thing to me. And Andy's like, oh, what's the yet another thing that they did this time? So it's like, we need to clear that up. We need to figure that out because two things can be true, like my sis always say. So, like, did Meredith get a bad cut? Or is it us that we're missing it? Because even with Lisa saying, you know, she said that this was the most upset she's ever seen Meredith on Playgate. I know I'm bringing it back, but because it's the last of it, I just want to just reiterate this part. She said this was the worst. You know, she's never seen Meredith this upset, and nobody. Andy, none of the cards said to ask her, like, when you said that to your husband, did you mean with the girl, were you siding with what the girls are saying, or were you just saying her talking to you, this is the most upset? Even though we know she's gonna say, oh yeah, no, it was her talking to me. It wasn't her being obnoxious to anybody else around. No, not that. So it's just funny to see Lisa, you know, do that. Like, you know, try to tippy-toe around, eggshell around Meredith when I feel like she could have really been like, no, Meredith, you were going a little crazy. You did go a little off. You did kind of shake her thing. It was longer than 15 minutes. It was, you know, like I just wish Lisa could have just, even if it wasn't so much to throw under the bus, but just speak your truth. Like you said what you said to your husband. You told John that was the most upset you ever seen her. So in that, it had to be worse than what we've already seen, if that's the worst that you've seen her. So
I see what you're getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. But I enjoyed watching this with you, my sister.
This is our third season of recapping and reviewing the show, y'all. So I mean, while you're at it, why don't you go back and watch our entire playlist? That would be, you know, cool. If not, we will definitely see you in the next one, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow us on all of our socials. We appreciate you guys listening out and being down here talking about all the things this season. We appreciate you, of course. And yeah, we will catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.